The Great Divorce by C.S. Lewis. Summary: The Great Divorce is a theological fantasy novel by C.S. Lewis, published in 1945. The novel explores the nature of heaven, hell, and human choice through an allegorical story where the narrator joins a group of souls on a bus journey from a dreary town, symbolizing hell, to the outskirts of heaven. Each traveler is given the chance to embrace salvation by confronting their inner flaws and desires, revealing themes of pride, forgiveness, and redemption. Through imaginative dialogue and symbolic encounters, Lewis examines the nature of spiritual growth and the barriers that prevent people from accepting grace. Plot summary. 1. The journey begins, the narrator and the gray town. The narrator begins his journey in a dim, gray town, representing a version of hell. The town is desolate and bleak, populated by people who are unable to find happiness or fulfillment. Individuals constantly quarrel, move farther apart, and isolate themselves, reflecting their inner emptiness and spiritual separation. One day, the narrator boards a bus, along with a diverse group of souls, which transports them from the gray town to the bright outskirts of heaven. 2. Arrival at the outskirts of heaven. Upon arrival, the passengers find that they have become ghosts, insubstantial and transparent in comparison to the solid, radiant landscape of heaven. The trees, grass, and rivers are so real and vibrant that they cause discomfort to the ghostly travelers. Soon, they encounter solid people, heavenly beings who offer to guide them into the fullness of heaven, urging them to let go of their attachments and embrace God's grace. Each ghost faces a decision: to accept this guidance and undergo transformation, or to cling to their old ways and return to the gray town. 3. Encounters with the ghosts and their obstacles. Throughout their journey, each ghost confronts a personal barrier that keeps them from entering heaven. The big man refuses to enter heaven because he feels entitled to his pride, insisting that he doesn't need forgiveness and that he deserves heaven by his own merit. The artist is preoccupied with his own work and reputation, finding it difficult to value God's glory over his art and failing to recognize that true creativity flows from divine inspiration. The grumbling woman is trapped in endless complaints and bitterness, which have consumed her identity and kept her from seeing the beauty around her. The intellectual clings to skepticism and pride in his own intelligence, choosing debate over truth and preferring intellectual superiority to submission and faith. One of the most significant encounters involves the ghost with the red lizard on his shoulder, representing lust or sinful desire. A solid person offers to remove the lizard, but the ghost resists, afraid of the pain and unwilling to let go. When he finally agrees, the lizard transforms into a beautiful stallion, symbolizing how submission to God's will redeems and purifies one's desires. 4. A transformative conversation with George MacDonald. The narrator encounters George MacDonald, a Scottish author and theologian who becomes his spiritual guide. MacDonald explains that the Grey Town is hell, a place where souls isolate themselves and refuse to embrace true joy and love. He describes hell as self-chosen, a consequence of souls rejecting God and choosing separation over connection. MacDonald also explains that heaven is open to all, but only those who are willing to let go of their sins and illusions can enter. MacDonald clarifies that the souls in hell have the opportunity to choose heaven, but many refuse because they cannot let go of their pride, resentment, or selfish desires. He stresses that even the smallest act of repentance could lead them into heaven if they genuinely desired it. 5. The narrator's revelation and awakening. As the narrator continues to observe the struggles of the ghosts and the solid people, he realizes the immense beauty and peace of heaven, contrasting sharply with the dark, self-imposed misery of the gray town. The narrator starts to question his own readiness for heaven, recognizing the need for humility, self-examination, and trust in divine grace. Just as the narrator approaches a moment of spiritual understanding, he awakens from his experience, realizing that the journey was a vision, a powerful dream about the nature of choice and the eternal consequences of spiritual decisions. Key themes. 1. Choice and free will. The novel emphasizes the idea that each soul has the freedom to choose between heaven and hell, life and death, truth and illusion. Lewis presents hell as a self-chosen state, showing that each person's ultimate destiny depends on their willingness to accept God's grace and let go of their ego. 2. Pride and self-deception. Many of the ghosts are trapped by pride and self-deception, unwilling to accept their need for forgiveness or transformation. Lewis suggests that pride blinds individuals to their own flaws, making them unwilling to receive the love and grace freely offered to them. 3. The nature of heaven and hell. Heaven and hell are depicted not as arbitrary places of reward or punishment, but as the natural outcomes of one's choices. Hell is a place of self-imposed isolation, while heaven is a place of unity and fullness, accessible to those who are willing to surrender their self-centeredness and embrace divine love. 4. Transformation and redemption. The story illustrates how even the most ingrained sins can be transformed through surrender to God. Lewis uses the transformation of the red lizard into a stallion as a symbol of how desires, when purified and redeemed, lead to greater joy and beauty. Conclusion. The Great Divorce by C.S. Lewis is a thought-provoking allegory that explores profound questions about human nature, salvation, and the struggle between self-will and surrender. Through the narrator's journey and encounters, Lewis conveys the importance of humility, the dangers of pride, and the transformative power of divine love. The novel's imaginative exploration of heaven, hell, and the human soul offers readers a timeless meditation on spiritual growth and the choices that shape our eternal destiny.